I haven't been this excited about a Washington wide receiver core since like Deshaun Jackson, Santana Moss, Pierre Garcon. You know what I'm saying? This is giving me Gary Clark, Art Monk vibes. I've been a fan that long. The Washington Commanders signed Stefon Diggs. Finally, after so much chatter about us picking up potentially Brandon Ayuk, man, I couldn't be more excited about what's to come in this episode. I'm going to get all into that. Let's talk about it.
Yo, what's good, everybody? My name is Qosmic, and I want to welcome you to my channel, Opinion Stated, where I give unfiltered, opinionated sports takes. Let's go.
Yo, what's good, everybody? My name is Qosmic. I want to welcome you back to my channel, Opinion Stated. Man, I'm excited. I've got a great episode planned for you today. This is my very first NFL episode of the year, fresh off of the Hall of Fame game last night. I'm not talking about either the Cardinals or the Carolina Panthers who played in that game. It was a really, really good game all the way down to the wire. Other than this game, I'm going to address my beloved Washington Commanders and a sign of Stefon Diggs. Man, I have so much information that I want to get into in addition to that. But before we dive deep into the content, do me a huge favor. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel as well. Subscribing to the channel helps us cruise along algorithm avenue, helps us get into the presence of individuals just like yourself who might be interested in this kind of content. Hype the video as well. That also helps to boost and bolster us out in these streets of algorithm chaos and suppression. I feel like my channel's been shadow banned for some reason. I don't know what the fuck I did to YouTube, but fuck y'all too. But getting right into the content, I'm entitled in today's episode, Diggs to DC, bro. Diggs to DC. So one thing that I do want to highlight really quickly as I watch and as we watch Stefon Diggs highlights on the screen is that Stefon Diggs, unlike I mentioned Brandon Ayuk in the intro, but unlike Brandon Ayuk who expressed interest in joining the Commanders, you know, instead of posting a bunch of videos where he was talking a good game all summer long, you saw posts from Stefon Diggs working out. You know what I mean? Like he was putting in that work, staying in shape, making sure that he worked himself into camp shape despite not being signed by any team or not having made a decision to sign with any team. Very strategic for him, which he made some comments about today. So we're going to get into that. You know what I mean? But before we do any of that stuff, man, I did just want to highlight that I'm excited that this brother kept himself in shape. He also talked about, you know, how dope it would have been to join the Commanders, being a bit of a hometown boy. So I love the fact that the Commanders understood the assignment, understood that we needed to bring in somebody else who could complement the greatness of Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin has been holding us down for many years, 7 years to be exact, since entering the NFL in 2019. But he hasn't really had, you know, someone to pair along with him, you know what I mean, on the other side of the field that will keep keep defenses rather honest, you know what I mean, and to prevent him from being double teamed or defenses from scheming up, you know what I mean, the kinds of defenses that double or at least put a bunch in the, you know, a bunch of the defensive attention on a number one wideout. He's essentially our only real option, and so it makes defenses, you know, just it makes it too easy for defenses, in my opinion, to be able to key in on him. But despite that, over the years, he has still been putting up great numbers, being Terry McLaurin. But it's not just about the numbers, you know, from season 1 through last year to season 2. You know what I mean? Like, we need Jayden to have more individuals, man, more weapons to target. And so I'm excited about this acquisition, you know what I mean, for that very reason. Stefon Diggs, in my opinion, is an elite route runner still. He is not the same player that he was some 8-9 seasons ago. You know what I mean? Not the same player that he was 5 seasons ago. But he still has explosiveness. He still has the ability to separate. He, again, is an elite route runner, so he has the ability to, you know what I mean, like get himself into the spots where he wants. He picks and chooses. I love the fact that he's also, as a veteran wide receiver, he's able to see maybe what, or see the defense in the way that maybe Jayden Daniels sees it as a quarterback, or maybe even because he's a veteran, equipped to understand some things about how the defense is covering him. And he's able to get out in space and just kind of keep himself, busy, keep himself active, or move into spots where he recognizes himself as a skilled wide receiver, some spaces that are open for him and that might make it a little bit easier for him to get the touches that he wants. And so, again, I'm excited, man, that he's coming in. Washington finally has another elite wide receiver to pair up with Terry McLaurin. There were some statements made by Stefon Diggs also earlier in the summer where he was saying, man, he's the best number 2 option in the league, and you couldn't name a better number 2 option, other than him. So I feel like even in that, statement, he was making a campaign with humility to get in a position like he is or has been signed to here in Washington. So again, man, I'm just excited to have him here in Washington. I have a 4-quarter game plan that I'm going to jump into really quickly. Let me kind of run that down. In the first quarter, we're going to talk about the Diggs signing. Diggs signed, of course. We're going to talk about, in second quarter, our 2026 acquisitions. In the third quarter, we're going to talk about this 2026 schedule, which there was a lot of chatter about. Obviously, when it was released, I was a little shook when I initially looked at it. I promise you as well. But, I get into kind of, the schedule thing and my thoughts around the schedule, et cetera, in the third quarter. In the fourth quarter, I'm going to keep it clean, and then we're going to get out of here. I'm not going to take too much of your time rambling on and on and on any further. Let's get into the first quarter of information, man, and that's the Diggs, or the fact that Stefon Diggs signed in Washington to a 1-year, $12 million contract, or in the upwards of $12 million, perhaps with the bonuses, et cetera, tied in to this particular contract. But this was broken by Adam Schefter a few days ago. So, since then, man, the chatter has been all over the internet. It broke the internet with the news. Everybody's been either high or I'm not really sure what Stefon Diggs is going to bring to Washington. You know what I mean? Respectfully, I can understand the varying perspectives that were shared or have been shared along the way. But even in this episode here, for me, again, given the fact that we have never, or I'd say during the Terry McLaurin era, we have never had someone as skilled and as adept at wide receiver as a Stefon Diggs is pairing up with Terry, man. That excites me more than anything else. So I want to stop really, really quickly as I've been blah, 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 blah. And I want to actually get into the comments from Stefon Diggs. Stefon Diggs met with the media on his first day of practice with the Commanders, so he got a chance to get out there, get some reps in with Jayden, kind of blend with the team some, communicate with the guys, talk through schemes, see some things, look at the playbook, get a chance to run some routes, etc. And so after practice, he actually spoke with the media, had a bit of an introductory pressure after that. So I kind of want to get into that really quick. I may pause throughout. Let's hear from Stefon Diggs.
Welcome back home.
Thank you so much. I've been around the game for a long time. I've been productive. I kind of know my way around the field a little bit. So I come with like a little bit of experience, I would say. And then leadership, I know everybody's led differently. I'm new here, so just trying to earn my keep and earn the respect of my teammates, earn the respect of my coaches. Most importantly right now, learn the playbook. I'm a little late in the game, but I'm handling it the right way, be a professional, and I'm just excited to be at work. I had a little bit of a long off season.
What was it like just this off season, not really knowing where you're going to end up?
Yeah.
And how was that for you?
Well, it was new, but, we had a little bit of an idea. We kind of wanted to slow play it and do whatever made the most sense at this stage in my career. Everybody know what I want. I want to win, and I want to hold a trophy up. So what a better place to do it than back home. And, got to work every day to try to get there. But here I am putting one foot in front of the other. I just try to take it one day at a time and treat things organically. And I'm, gratitude eliminates entitlement. So I come here graceful, I'm thankful, and I'm happy to be here.
Let me say something really quick. Gratitude eliminates entitlement. He was talking that talk, man. It's hard not to get excited, not to be hyperbolic, not to be like, we're going to have like the top 3 offense in the league this year. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we'll definitely be top. It's hard not to be hyperbolic when a person, and I know that a lot of, again, chatter, man, is about his off-field stuff. And you know what I mean? Like, but Stefon Diggs comes to work to work. And so we've heard him say that already, you know, but also not coming in being assuming or feeling like, man, I should have been signed with somebody. Somebody should have been offering me a contract, et cetera, keeps him humble. You know what I'm saying? So I like the humility that is definitely being displayed through, you know what I mean? Like through the presser thus far. But let's get back into the clip.
Years ago,
Yeah.
a game away from the Super Bowl. You were just in the Super Bowl last year. Do you feel like that's something that maybe you could be that missing link to help get this?
I don't want to say that. I don't want to say that. I'm gonna do the best that I can, you know, from my point of view of just being a receiver, being open, being a leader, you know, trying to lead by example and you know, push the guys around me. My biggest thing is I always try to push the guys around me to the best version of themselves. We slowly kind of building that already. It's day one. We had a lot of conversations, more than I thought we would have. Guys coming up to me and, you know, me just throwing a little gem here and there. You know, I'm older. I've been around the game for a little while now, like I said earlier, but you know, I'm graceful and I'm just trying to give them everything that I got, and at the same time, more show than tell. You know, I can say a bunch of hoopla, but I'd rather just go out there and hoop and show you why I did what I did, or kind of just communicate through the actions.
I'll speak up. So it's only been 1 day.
Yeah.
But impressions of some of the receivers you've been working with so far?
Yeah. I mean, they got talent. They got a lot of talent. Brown, you know, he's been to a couple teams, but this is his first team he was at. I see that he has a lot of potential. He's made some plays. Terry, obviously. Trey Burks, you know, he was in Tennessee. You know, he's been in the league for a little while too. So, and then you got the young guys. 14 can hoop a little bit. You know, young guys don't get a name in the beginning. Just call him by the number. But he can hoop a little bit. He got some game, and you know, hopefully I can be a piece in their process that can kind of build this team and lead this team in the right direction. Because at the end of the day, I just want to win, man. Winning is the main thing for me. We had a little bit of that last year, a lot of it of that last year, and I kind of want that to just carry over. And all I can bring is my experience and the things that I've done and my leadership.
So let me pause right there for just a second. So again, you know, bringing that veteranship and bringing in that, he said, leadership to come in. It's like, I don't have to be the leader, but a leader here. And I want to make sure that I'm putting myself in a position to do that I'm not all talk, but I'm more of a show. I'm more showing you, you know what I mean, what it's about. And then we can talk about why I ran the route, why I saw this, what I see, and you know what I mean, like how I can help you improve from there, as opposed to coming in with this air of like, yo, I know more than you. I've done better than you. I've been better than you. You know what I mean? Like, so he's talking right. He's talking right. And you know what I mean? Like, it remains to be seen whether or not it's all talk. But again, he has a track record of having, you know what I mean? Like good seasons coupled with great things said about him, about a locker room guy. And as far as a teammate, let's get back into the clip.
Like to play in front of a hometown crowd?
It's a different level of pride. You know, it's kind of like, I'm going to give you the honest answer. I used to come home when we used to play the Commanders / Redskins back in the day, and I always felt like I had something to prove, you know, because that's my hometown team. Them and the Baltimore Ravens, like, I always play with a chip on my shoulder, but the chip got really big when I go home because that's your hometown team, and I kind of always felt like they passed up on me. They didn't give me a chance, you know what I'm saying? I was right in their backyard. So kind of coming full circle moment, you know, it's like, look at God, look how things happen. God works in mysterious ways, and timing is everything. So here I am back home, and I carry that same chip, but I'm a part of the team now, you know, and I got a lot of pride, and I try to put it to the side at times, but that chip is on the other side now. So, and my whole family was Commanders fans growing up. My dad's side of the family was Cowboys fans, so you can imagine the visit in that household on Thanksgiving. You know, hopefully we can get back to that one day. Yeah.
Speaking of chatter, a few weeks ago, you said that you'd be the best wide receiver 2 in the league.
Yeah.
You stand by that? Why'd you say it?
I would have said 1. I mean, that's just my personal feelings, but you know what I'm saying, I kind of take it with a grain of salt. I give people the benefit of the doubt, you know what I'm saying? If people kind of feel the way about that, like, in this profession, in this job, you gotta elude confidence, you know what I'm saying? I can't go into anything saying something else. Like, I said 2 on camera, but in my heart, you know, I'm gonna say 1, you know what I'm saying? But humbly, I like to give people you know, the benefit of the doubt, you know what I'm saying? But, you know what I'm saying, people have favorite players, but my numbers have always spoke for themselves. No matter who you like or what you say, the production has been there. If you put my production versus any production, you know what I'm saying, I think I was the number 14th receiver last year, and I was playing 52% of the snaps, you know what I'm saying? Numbers-wise, I mean, I'm not no mathematician, but, you know what I'm saying, I try to leave that right there. But I say that humbly. I say that from the space of I've worked extremely hard. I've always been productive. It's easy to say, well, well, it's this guy's better and that guy better. Well, it's personal opinion. What were they grading? What was the numbers? You know what I'm saying? Everything is situational. I went into a situation all coming off of ACL. You know what I'm saying? Coming off of ACL with a team that went, I don't know what the record was. You know what I'm saying? So to have that success and coming off of ACL, not a lot of people bounce back. Not a lot of people have success coming off of ACL that fast. So I'm speaking with confidence just off the work that I put in. And I say that humbly. I don't want to rub anybody the wrong way or be abrasive in any way, but I say that from confidence and the amount of work I put in and the success I had last year, being around the right group of guys and playing well. And, you know, that's not easy. You know what I'm saying? People might act like it's easy, but if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. So forgive me if I rub anybody the wrong way.
So again, just a pause right there really quick. That's another one of those things, again, that excites me about having him here. It's because he literally just got a taste of Super Bowl last season. And so being an elite athlete, being a star wide receiver in this league, especially being keyed into his teammates and being as dedicated and committed to the game as he is to inspire his teammates, who better, man, to rally these guys around the common mission of tightening, you know what I mean, the reins a bit, you know, to being tightening up how they do things, being more intentional about, you know, how they work out, how they stay focused, how they look at film, how they approach games week to week than a person who literally just experienced it. Now, 52 other players from that team who are the same, right? Coming in with that same kind of experience and edge. Many of them are still in New England. But I'm just saying, for this brother who's a veteran player, hometown, talked about the talent that they have within. So again, not coming in shitting on anybody, not coming in being like, yo, they definitely need me. I'd like to say I could be the missing piece for them, he says. You know what I mean? Like, I'd like to say that. I'd like to say I'm, you know what I mean, like one of the best number one options in the league. You know what I mean? But I'm being humble. But I know I am willing to put in the work, man. So again, I mean, he's talking right. You know what I mean? Like, I love everything he's saying. It's just going to be a matter of time before he can show and prove back to the clip.
And write a better story, you know, at this point in my career and what I want to do and being able to be healthy and coming off of ACL, having success and going to your hometown team and want to shine for them. And, you know, I want to put on for my city. I'm always going to want to do that. You know what I'm saying? I did it when I was away and I want to do it when I'm home. So it definitely means a lot to me. You know what I'm saying? Pull on your heartstrings a little bit, but, you know, I know the city behind me. I know I got a support system here and I know I got a lot of love here. So all I want to do is make people proud. You know what I'm saying? Make the city proud. And the best way you could do that is go far. You know what I'm saying? I don't know where. I'm not going to say where. You don't want to jinx it or nothing, but I want to go far and I want to be consistent and be a puzzle piece to this team in a positive way. Thank y'all. Have a good one, all right?
And I want to go far. And I ain't going to say where to the Super Bowl, bro. But I say it. It can be said that that's where we want to go. You know what I mean? Like, it's a different thing to say, oh, we're going to win it all now. And I know that, you know, a lot of that happens, man, in terms of like fandom and what we do with fandom. But I am feeling much better, much more confident in this team. You know what I mean? Like going in because of Stefon Diggs. So welcome home, Stefon Diggs. Welcome back to DC, brother. Excited to have you. I do want to talk about the wide receiver room really quick. Clearly, Terry McLaurin has been the guy in Washington, is the guy in Washington. He is our guy. You know what I mean? Has proven himself worthy of being our guy. But he's the number one option, and, you know, for good reason, like I said, man, through consistency and dedication to the game. Last year being a little bit different, obviously, where because of that consistency, he didn't come into, wasn't able actually to participate in camp at all. So that put us a bit behind the eight ball, put him a bit behind the eight ball in terms of his health, not being able to kind of get himself ramped up and warmed up properly for playing full speed, you know, high contact, violent a game as football is. And so, you know, that led to a lot of soft tissue injuries, and his season was just kind of a wash because of that very reason. So as Terry's season went, so did the Commanders' season go. A lot of unfortunate injuries last year, you know what I mean, not just to Terry, but to a slew of Washington Commanders players. So I'm excited, obviously, that we have, you know, Terry returning full health this year, not the distraction of the contract. So he's, you know, full-on participant and has been through the spring now into August here. So training camp just kicked off here about a week or so ago. We bring in Treylon Burks, obviously, who has been in the league for a while. Jalen Lane helps to round out this wide receiver room. Luke McCaffrey, De'Ami Brown returns to Washington. and the youngster Antonio Williams, who a lot of folks are really, really high on. Van Jefferson and a few others, kind of helped to round out the wide receiver core. Kind of presuming that they'll make the 53-man roster, if not ending up on the practice squad in the event that someone gets injured, et cetera, as the season goes on. The injuries are simply just a part of football. But I want to talk about this wide receiver room. For me, I wasn't really confident prior to the Stefon Diggs signing because I'm like, bro, again, we need another bona fide receiver. We need somebody else. You know what I mean? Like, I just think back to, or even just remaining present day. I mean? You look at a really, really good football team in the NFL. Take your pick. I'm not going to give anybody props here, but just think about some of the better receiving cores, with some of the previous Super Bowl winning teams or some of those teams that are typically at the top of, the AFC and NFC respectively. Those who are punching their tickets to the Super Bowl typically have a very solid wide receiver core. They're not just relying on one receiver. You know what I mean? So I wasn't really confident in this receiver core for that reason, because I'm like, who's going to be our guy? And, short hands, somebody who, can definitely, or that we can definitely rely on, when we need the yardage, when we need the catches, especially, you know what I mean? Like, who's going to be that guy? So clearly now that guy is going to be Stefon Diggs paired up with Terry McLaurin. I want to take a look at just their numbers over the last 7 seasons. I have 7 seasons listed here, just from the time that Terry McLaurin entered the NFL in 2019 through the 2025 season, which was last season where Stefon Diggs spent in New England. New England, as we all know, competed in the Super Bowl last year, will come up short against the Seattle Seahawks. But that notwithstanding, I want to talk about their numbers and just kind of do a numbers comparison thing here. In the 2019 season, Stefon Diggs, was able to haul in 1,130 yards receiving, 919 yards receiving for Terry McLaurin. And then in the 2020 season for Stefon Diggs, 1,535 yards in 2020 in comparison to Terry McLaurin. He had 1,118 yards, so 1,100 yards. In 2021, 1,225 yards for Stefon Diggs, 1,053 total yards for Terry McLaurin in that same campaign. In 2022, 1,429 yards for Stefon Diggs, 1,191 yards for Terry McLaurin. And in 2023, 1,183 yards for Stefon Diggs, 1,002 yards, so just squeaked over 1,000 yards. Did Terry McLaurin in 2023. Jayden's rookie year, 496 yards for Stefon Diggs, who suffered that ACL injury in 2024, but 1,096 yards in Jayden's rookie campaign for Terry McLaurin. And then, of course, last year, the 2025 season, where I talked about the contract negotiations, him not being able to get up to speed, was his worst year as a Commander, 582 yards gained in and out of the lineup. And for Stefon Diggs, assisting the resurgence of the New England Patriots, he chipped in 1,013 yards. So that's 8,421 yards in the last 7 years for Stefon Diggs. I believe I heard it said that he was like the only NFL receiver to, in the last seven of the last 8 years, or one of 3, to have over 1,000 yards receiving. So, in each of those years, so 8,421 total yards in the last 7 seasons for Stefon Diggs, 6,961 total yards for Terry McLaurin, who's been the number 1 option here in Washington the entire time. Why do I point out these numbers? I always say stats can be telling, but stats without context can be misleading. So one could surmise from the stats that I'm showing here on the screen that, man, Stefon Diggs is the better wide receiver. And I can't really argue that. You know what I mean? But I also understand that, quarterback play, looms heavily also how often you're on the field, because the defense is giving the offense opportunities. Those things matter too. So the one thing that I did want to point out, of course, is that maybe, just maybe, the role that Stefon Diggs comes in and plays in the production, and from that production that he actually is able to produce, this season, he's looking more like I mean, we're looking like we have more of a 1A, 1B situation in Washington. And even in that, I don't think that Terry has an ego that would, you know what I mean, like kind of get in the way or have him in his head about it, you know, one way or the other. Terry is that type of receiver with his elite route running that can stretch the field. At this stage of his career for Stefon Diggs, especially last season, if we just use that as a litmus, in New England, you know, his ability to line up in the slot, man, and just kind of, you know what I mean, like take all the underneath stuff to kind of keep the chains moving is what I feel like is a more ideal situation to put him in. But he only played in 52% of the snaps last season in order to put up that 1,013 yards. And so I think obviously with more production, like I said, given the opportunity to be on the field more, et cetera, you know what I mean? Like his numbers have the opportunity to increase. The huge chunk yardage will still go Terry's way. Terry will get a lot more catches this year because, again, I think the defenses will have to play both honest, right? When you know that you have, and that's not to say that Steph can't play the X role, Y, Z. He can line up anywhere and be effective. But I think that, you know, if you allow Terry to do what he does and function in his strengths as the X, then, you know what I mean, like just kind of have his stuff, like I said, do all the other auxiliary underneath stuff and using them both, you know, to do so obviously is going to make a huge impact on this Washington offense, gives Jayden so many more targets. And with this new David Blau system that they're bringing in, doesn't really concern me that it's like, oh, well, it's a new offensive coordinator. Like, how's this going to play out? I would be nervous under different circumstances, but given the fact that David Blau has been Jayden's guy, you know, as a quarterbacks coach for the previous 2 seasons that Jayden has been in the league or for the entirety of his career so far in the NFL, you know, him being a Jayden guy, I think that bodes well for them. Clearly, it's going to be a matter of time before, or it's going to take a bit of time, I would say, before Stefon Diggs acclimates himself with the actual offense in Washington. But we got plenty of time for that. We got another 3-4 weeks before the season kicks off. So, you know what I mean? That bodes well and doesn't concern me at all. But I'm definitely looking forward to having the defenses have to play both of these receivers honestly, which then could lead to production from the other wide receivers, even if we're talking about a bunch of cloud coverages or them dropping linebackers back in coverage to keep the underneath stuff out of the way. But it would definitely make it a lot harder for them to jam the box. So I expect a big season on the Bill. We brought in Rashad White, who's an excellent pass catcher out of the backfield. Hopefully, with his veteran leadership, he can leak on Bill a little bit, show him some better techniques so that Bill can progress. But that's, again, man, just like kind of what I'm looking for and looking forward to. Chico Conquo, I'm looking forward to, you know what I mean? Like even some of that underneath stuff being open for him. Chick's got great hands. So seeing him in some route situations where he can just run some legitimate routes and get himself open, man, it's going to be a lot of fun too. But again, man, I'm just excited that we have added Stefon Diggs to this wide receiver room. There is nothing, in my opinion, man, that excites me more. Was I a little bit nervous? You know what I mean? Like kind of coming into training camp, I'll be honest with you, bro. I was 100% nervous. Like, bro, we can't do this again. I was heavy last season on making sure that we get Jayden some options, put Jayden in, you know, weapons wise, put Jayden in the best opportunity and best position, give him the best opportunity and put him in the best position, I'll say, to succeed. I did not feel like they did that last year, especially with the debacle that was Terry McLaurin's contract negotiations, but just the talent that they put around him. I didn't think that they really did a good job, being Adam Peters and the front office, did a good job bringing in enough like legitimate talent that would give Jayden the best chance to succeed. Man, top to bottom grade between last season's acquisitions and this season's acquisitions on the offensive side of the ball, A plus, bro. A plus, given who we brought in. Let's talk about some of the acquisitions from free agency. So 2026 offseason acquisitions on both offense and defense. And this is just the top 10 in my opinion. No, not even top 10. It's just, I think I have like 12, 13 names on here total, but it's just 10 that I have listed here. Odafe Owe on the edge. Caleb on Chason, another edge rusher. So we brought in a lot of really, really, really young. We got younger on the defensive, and we got nastier You know what I mean? Like, I think these guys are much, much more hungry and speed. You know what I mean? Again, man, that toughness. I think that we definitely needed that on the defensive side. Brought back Tim Settles Jr. Shout out to Tim. Leo Chenal we brought in to help bolster the linebacker core. So I'm expecting a big year from Frankie Louvu, obviously, to see his trajectory kind of, you know what I mean, like upward trend continually. So hopefully bringing in somebody like a Leo Chenal will help, you know what I mean, like motivate him some more as well. Amik Robertson at cornerback, who's been making, you know what I mean, waves, I would say, through camp so far. Meek to me is like a little undersized, but you know what I mean? Like, man, if you can play the position, you can play the position. You know what I mean? So speed and positioning yourself, technique, you know, comes into play a lot, man, with these DBs. We brought in Charles Omenihu as well, man, as an edge rusher, and Nick Cross at safety. Nick is really exciting, I feel like, because, man, our safeties were ass last year. Our secondary was garbage. We were getting burned up out there. We couldn't stop anybody. You know what I'm saying? So I'm excited that we are bringing in some folks that can certainly help us out. I talked about Chigo Conco as well at tight end. So shout out to Zach Ertz and, you know what I mean? Like, there are other guys like John Bates, like Ben Sinnott. And so, you know, I was actually really, really high on Ben Sinnott last season. I thought that it would be a breakout year for Ben Sinnott. And it's not to say that it probably should not have been a breakout year for Ben Sinnott, but looks like the team is confident having bring in or brought in Chigo Conco and maybe stretching this thing out. Maybe we'll see some double tight end sets or something like that. You know, who knows? But Chigo Conco is definitely, in my opinion, the better of the tight ends that we have in Washington. Now, again, like I said, we brought in Rashad White, a veteran running back, sure hands out of the backfield, which we certainly were lacking last year, especially after Austin Eckler went down. Clearly, we talked about Stefon Diggs coming in. But honorable mention, Van Jefferson, Rasul Douglas on the defensive side of things, and Fabian Monroe as well. So a lot of free agency acquisitions and shifting, you know, around, I feel like has been made, not just from the veteran side of play, but according to sharpshooter analysis. This was an article that I found right after the draft, but it started in round one, according to Sharp Football Analysis, when Sonny Styles slipped from an expected top 5 pick to the Commanders at number 7, with Friday's only pick, the Commanders drafted wide receiver Antonio Williams in round 3, and at number 71, when he was expected to go at number 66. Their Saturday picks flashed even more value in round 5. They took edge Joshua Josephs at number 146, when he was expected to go number 77 in round 6. They drafted running back Katron Allen at number 186, when he was expected to go number 130. Later that round, they grabbed center Matt Golbin from Michigan State at number 208, when he was expected to go number 168. So let me back up for a second. Again, man, really, really shore up the holes that we had on the defensive side of the ball, from, you know, the edge rushers to the linebackers to the tackles to the safeties, corners, etc. I love this acquisition of Sonny Styles at linebacker. I love that, you know, Sonny is such a skilled player that he doesn't just come in solo as a linebacker in terms of that as his sole mentality. He played safety to start out. He's only been playing linebacker for a few seasons. I think he finished his college career playing linebacker, maybe like 1 season, 1.5 seasons, something like that, to get himself into the space where he finds himself right now, as now an NFL linebacker. The pundits and reports that we hear about Sonny Styles coming through camp is that, man, this kid is solid. He's stellar. You know, he's a rock star. They're already talking about him being green dot. You know what I mean? So he'll be like a captain of this defense, man, calling out plays, etc. So it's gonna be really, really interesting to see how his game, to me, translates over into the NFL. But moreover, because you know what I mean, you have Durante coming in as a new defensive coordinator as well, man. It's gonna be really interesting to see, you know, how he schemes up things with the personnel that he has. I feel like he has a lot of really good personnel. It's night and day from what we saw last year. Again, if I had to compare last season's defense to this season's defense in terms of just personnel, I'm going A plus as well. In comparison, we got younger. Again, we got faster. We're getting stronger. So these guys definitely seem a little bit more hungry. So excited also about, as I said, we picked up Antonio Williams. A lot of folks I've heard be like, oh man, we got Antonio Williams. Like, this is super dope. This kid's going to be really good to step right into the league and make an instant impact. And it's not to say that he cannot. We'll kind of see what happens, but I wasn't banking on, you know what I mean, like him coming in, being a bona fide number 2 wide receiver. Not that he's not skilled or talented or gifted enough to do so, but I was just kind of like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, bro. Let's see. So excited to have him nonetheless. We also were able to pick up, as it says, Joshua Josephs as another edge rusher, so he'll get the opportunity to learn from all the other guys as he goes. That should accelerate his learning curve. We brought in Thunder and Katron Allen to assist with Bill, so I think it's going to be a bit of a running back by committee. Bill jumped on the scene last year, shocked everybody, had a decent year, had some problems with fumbles, stuff like that, but I felt like he found his own, found his way and held his own last year for the most part. Again, a lot was going on last year, so no real cohesiveness in terms of the offense and being able to run that thing week in, week out, because Jayden Daniels stayed in and out of the lineup as well. So I think that, with everybody healthy, with full summer and a full camp, to have everybody together, man, Bill will come out, and show himself as much improved by having a Katron Allen who, is coming out of college, man, with a ton of hype, all-time leading rusher, in his, college team's history. So I just think that, we have, again, man, added enough talent, in my opinion, to help get us over the hump. Back to sharp football analysis and what they were saying just about the draft class in general. So they were saying that, the best value for the 2026 NFL draft class came from Washington. So we got the best value out of what we did in the draft. Again, expecting any of these players outside of Sonny Styles to come in and make an immediate impact. Well, maybe Katron Allen, you know what I mean? Like maybe Antonio Williams. There are some pieces, like I said, man, again, that we could fuse in right now that could possibly make a huge impact and a huge splash in the NFL and obviously on this team moving forward. So moving right along, man, I want to get into the schedule. Like I said, man, the schedule covered here in quarter number 3. Man, listen, this schedule, when I first saw it, I was like, what in the entire, like, it is crazy. You know what I mean? Like the schedule and how it's laid out. However, I will be clear in saying it's a funny thing, man, as far as the schedule is concerned, because a lot of times we look at it and we have in our minds what these teams are going to be based on what these teams were in the past. So a lot of times when people give an analysis about a schedule and strength of schedule, you know what I mean? It's like based on what you project this team to be, and then, based on their personnel or based on their previous track record. And then, that's relative to kind of what's going to happen when the team actually does take the field. This game, I literally just said this to the homeboy Lonnie in group text with the fellas, that, man, this game is played between the lines. You know what I mean? So the hype machines being hyped up, content creators being hyped about their teams, et cetera, man, it's one thing. But, you know what I mean? Like any given Sunday, Monday, Thursday, and some Saturdays, any NFL team, which is comprised of professional football players, can beat any NFL team, man. So it boils down to, what happens between those lines. But taking a look straight out the gate, man, we face off against a division rival in Philly. So a lot of chatter, obviously, about, who's going to win the division this year. Will it be Philly winning it again? Will it be Dallas, who's stacked, winning it again, or winning it? Will it be the Commanders? Some have the Giants, or many have the Giants that I've heard finishing last, which put us somewhere around 3. 3, I agree with, given the level of talent and the lack of talent that I thought that we had, kind of coming into the season. But through free agency and what we've done to the draft, I think we have a really, really good, solid team. And especially now having added Stefon Diggs, man, that puts me, high to be confident that we could very well win the division. We can certainly compete with anybody in this division. This division is always tough. You know what I mean? It's always a dogfight. And so, coming around the gate, man, we get a chance to beat the shit out Philly. I'm sorry, to take on Philly at home. And then we also follow that right up, man, being able to kick the teeth out of the Dallas Cowgirls after that. So those are going to be, you know what I mean, like two meaningful games right out the gate to start the season. We get to take on defending champs Seattle after that, and then we take on the Colts first week of November. After that, we get the Giants, get the dance on them, get the dance on San Fran as well. And that San Fran game, I believe, is the out of the country game before the bye week. Coming back, we see Philly again. And then we get the Rams after that. So November is going to be very exciting to start. We get the Giants again. We get the Bengals after that. We get the Cardinals after that. We get Tennessee after that. We get Houston after that. Then we get Atlanta. We get a chance to, face off against Bijan Robinson. I think we're going to be a lot better against the run this year. So I thought we were great against the run until we saw Bijan last season. I was just like, we still got some work to do. We get Minnesota to close out December before coming back in the Jaguars, and then closing out the year, on either the 9th or the 10th of January. We'll finish off the year solidifying ourselves as NFC East champs against the Cowboys. So this schedule, does look like, man, y'all got some of them ones on your schedule. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, outside of the division, you know what I mean? Like this schedule is, I mean, it's a schedule. You know what I'm saying? But again, the game is played between the lines. So when we line up against these opposing teams, given the schema, given what I mean, like the plays that are called, given who's healthy, who's ready to go, who can win their matchups. You know what I mean? Like what kinds of plays go in our favor, et cetera, man. Like anything can happen in these games. So I'm looking forward to that. And that's both positive and negative, working in our favor or against. I want to talk about some of the schedule notes, of things that are notable as a result. There's 11 days of rest that we'll have between weeks 10 and 11. So that'll bolster well for us to give us just some time to kind of get ourselves together after playing a significant amount of games. We play 2 Saturday games this season. We play 2 Monday night games this season. And we play 4 primetime games this season. So you're going to get a chance to see a lot of these Commanders on national television. Definitely hopeful of being able to redeem ourselves. Because last year we had a lot of primetime games, man. It really wasn't worth it having us on TV. We were just getting the shit beat out of us. But 8 of the first 10 home games are I think it's the first 7, right? So 7 of the first 10 games we play NFC opponents. 5 of the first 10 games versus NFC East division, and only 2 actual home games in the first 7 weeks, bro. So only 2 actual games are played at home. So we come back and finish out the bottom of the season, by just getting that home cooking, man, and being able to, hear it from our fans and get the love from our fans. And I think that'll make a better team. It should make a better team of us. We'll learn how to play with our backs against the walls, facing adversity, hearing the other teams, crowd, cheer them on and shit. We'll get to go in and break a lot of fucking hearts early. And so I think it'll make a better team of us. We'll see how it plays out. Closing out this episode, I'm going to keep it clean. And I'm always, man, one to keep it clean, even though I'm a little biased because of my Commanders. But excited about Chigo Conquo, like I said, man, at tight end. Obviously, Terry McLaurin, being healthy and being ready coming into the season. Contract not looming over his head or contract disputes or issues, just being able to focus on football. I'm excited about that. Excited about having Stefon Diggs in a Washington Commanders uniform, helping us out as a 1A, 1B, perhaps, but definitely a number 2 receiver that just helps to keep these defenses honest, keeps the secondary on their toes. Excited about Katron Allen, about Bill, obviously about Rashad White as well. So again, that running back by committee, situation, man, is going to be huge. Excited about Antonio Williams and seeing his development. Excited that he's going to have an opportunity to learn from not only Terry, but now also Stefon Diggs and Sonny Styles as well, man, and what Sonny's bringing to the team. So I'm not worried any longer. I promise, man. I'm going to keep it real. I'm going to keep it clean. I was worried about whether or not the Commanders and Adam Peters had done enough to put a solid team together around Jayden Daniels, especially last year, put him in the best position to win. And then through the spring, I wasn't too sure. But now I'm excited. And I think that I can say with confidence that this Washington Commanders team will certainly be, NFC East champions, not just because I'm a fan of the team, not because I got a crystal ball and I'm foretelling, kind of what's going to happen. But I think that we've shored up all the holes that we have. I don't really know of any weaknesses that I can think of off the top that will concern me until we actually, get a chance to see this team take the field. But I think we have enough personnel to, again, fix those little problems, to make some adjustments, move some players around, and put them in the positions that we need. Durante Jones and David Blau have their work cut out for them as brand new offensive and defensive coordinators. Dan Quinn, this is going to be the one, my guy. This is going to be the one. You've got all your own coaching staff in here, hand-selected people. You let some people go. You've gotten the personnel, the proper personnel, I feel like, that can, that you can build with and win with and scheme with. It's going to be a matter of seeing, kind of how that all plays out on the field. But the failures, while everybody has their hands in, are going to fall back on you as the coach. I have the utmost confidence in Dan Quinn as a head coach. But if it doesn't happen this season, brother, when is it going to happen? I think with the squad that we have, a lot of youth, a lot of experience, kind of a great mix blend in terms of that balance. I look forward to seeing Jayden Daniels get back to his rookie year form. I'm not just going to throw last season away. I think last season left a bit of a chip on his shoulder. Definitely showed him, that he needs to prepare his body a little bit different, that he cannot take things for granted, can't take for granted, even the ability to bounce back from injuries, like he has maybe in previous seasons of his football career, from high school to college to the pros. So I think that this will definitely put the Washington Commanders, this season will definitely put the Washington Commanders rightfully on the map where we belong, and to be spoken of highly as NFL title contenders, man, Super Bowl contenders. But proof is in the pudding. So that's been my opinion, man. That's been the basis of this episode. Definitely appreciate you guys for tuning in. Like the video. Like I said, if you haven't already, hype the video. Subscribe to the channel for more content such as this. I will catch you guys in the next episode. Take care of yourselves until then. Blessings.